Do your reps finish a sales call and then spend the next 15 minutes or more trying to update their CRM, send a follow-up email, ping an AE for a sales handoff with notes? Yeah, BDRs should not be doing that in 2025. I'm Mark from Tango, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to build an agent that will automate that entire post-call workflow. Come on. Today, we're building two browser agents, one for qualified leads and one for disqualified leads. And I'll show you exactly how to build them, run them in your own tools like HubSpot and Grain, and share them with your team to enable your team and stay process compliant. This is the exact workflow and the perfect agent for any BDR. I'm Mark. Let's Tango. So the first step in building any agent is asking yourself, what do you want this agent to do? So think of a process, a task, or a workflow that needs to be done quickly, but needs to adhere to a process. For many BDRs or business development representatives, this is the post-call follow-up when you qualify or unqualify a lead. So for this tutorial, the goal is to automate everything a BDR would do after a call when they either qualify or disqualify a lead. This includes multiple tasks like updating the CRM, handing off a prospect to an account executive, assigning a follow-up task, sending a follow-up email with notes. Each of these tasks might seem small, but they add up when they're done together. They're prone to errors, and when you multiply them across multiple calls a day, BDRs are simply wasting too much time doing these tasks. We're going to build an agent so we can run our exact process after each call moving forward. First, I open the Tango extension, and we're using Grain. That's our company's call recorder. But don't worry, Tango works in the user interface, so there's no need for development or code, and it'll work in your web-based tools like Salesforce, HubSpot, Grain, and more. No APIs, no code, no development. In this example, I work for a company called Burley Chairs, and my prospect, Emily, is looking to buy chairs in early November. To begin, I click Start Capture in Tango. This brings up two automation options. Now, Tango started as a process adoption company, but now we're turning expert documentation into action agents that do the work for you. Combining browser automation with rep control for those special steps where you need human judgment. So here you can choose to create a how-to guide or an AI automation. I'm going to select AI automation. Now I choose to extract data directly from the call transcript in Grain. Now I click Add an Agent Action. Now you can simply write a prompt like you would for any other LLM. Or you can click See Tips and Templates to review our best practices, our tips, and our best written prompts that you can use right out of the box. Many of these are based on sales frameworks. Now, we use the BANT framework, but you can also select MEDDIC, MEDDPICC, or use any sales process that your team uses. Now, from my BDR's transcripts, I'm going to want to extract some important information. I'm going to extract the next steps, key takeaways to add as a note in my CRM, a follow-up note, which will be the subject line for my email, the body of a follow-up email, the quantity of chairs, authority, the buyer's timing, the handoff note, the name of the person with purchasing authority, the name of the prospect, the total proposed value of the quote, and a deal name that's a combination of the customer's full name, a hyphen, and then the dollar amount of the deal. For example, Emily Tran hyphen $200,000. And finally, the account executive I'm going to hand this prospect over to. Once I've added all the smart values, I click Extract, and Tango will show me a list of all the smart values it will create. These are the values I'm going to extract out of any call from any transcript with any prospect. Here you can see that all the values are looking correct, but I do want to add in the name of the account executive I'm going to hand over the prospect to, so I'm going to type that in right here. And now everything looks great, so I click Save. Now I switch over to HubSpot and update the opportunity stage to qualify. HubSpot then automatically opens up a deal creation form. Here, I populate the field with those smart values we captured earlier. You can do this by clicking an open field and then selecting the orange Tango tab, and there you'll see a list of all the smart values that we saved from our call. So now I'll simply enter the following details. Deal name, Emily Tran, $2,000. I'll choose to manually enter a closing date, but then I'll move back onto the automation and enter the deal amount. Now it's time to add the product, the budget, purchasing authority, which is Max Winslow, the customer's need. They need chairs for office refresh, timing. Now here I'll just add in early November manually. A handoff note, and a seat count. Once all the fields are filled in, I click create. So now the CRM record is updated, a deal is created in my pipeline, and now I'm ready to compose a follow-up email to Emily with our call notes. So here, I'll copy the contact's email and begin to compose my email in my email client. I'm going to click compose and then copy in my contact's email. And now we'll use smart values for the follow-up note, which is the email title, and the body of the follow-up email. Once everything looks good, I'll go ahead and hit send. Now the email is already in Emily's inbox in seconds, rather than me waiting till the end of the day, the end of the week, or who knows if I even forget. Let's head back to HubSpot so I can reassign the prospect to the proper account executive. To get started, I'll click on Emily Tran's contact record, where I can create a note for Mark. I'll click on note, and then I'll simply use the smart value for the handoff note. Then click create note. Now it's time to change the contact record from me over to Mark. You can see the call recorder spelled his name incorrectly, but you have total control and can update it right here. Now this is a simple yet powerful feature of Tango. It's what we call human-in-the-loop automation. It allows you to leverage the power and speed of artificial intelligence while keeping a human in the loop to check everything before moving forward. Now it's time to add a task for Mark. I'll click task, select the due date for tomorrow, and assign the task to Mark with instructions to follow up on the new deal that I'll put in the notes section of the task. So again, here I can use that smart value for follow-up note, and all the notes will be in one place. And now Mark has all the information he needs to follow up with Emily. Everything looks good, so I'll click create. And that's it. Our qualified lead agent is now fully configured, and it does all the major steps a BDR would do after a discovery call. It reviewed the call summary, updated the CRM record, sent a follow-up email, handed off the prospect to an account executive, and even created a task for them to follow up tomorrow. And it did it in seconds. Now it's time to wrap up by reviewing the steps in Tango. You can see the Tango in the window, and you can see all the steps in that left-hand sidebar. I'm going to make a few quick edits. First, I'll update the name of this Tango to create a deal after a qualified conversation. And you can update anything that needs improvement. And finally, save the agent to the team library so BDRs can get started using it immediately. And now it's ready to run. Let's see it live in the next video. I'm Mark. Let's Tango. So we just had a great discovery call with a prospect. So let's test out that qualified agent we just built. It's important to see how the agent will handle different transcripts with different prospects with different needs. Now, in this scenario, I've just had a great discovery call with a prospect named Jake Rubenstein, and he is qualified and ready to go. So to get started in my Tango library, I find my agent and simply click run. It will automatically open up Grain since that's the first step in this automation. And here I'll find my meeting with Jake. It's really me. Remember, I'm now the BDR and I'm going to run this agent after my call with Jake. And just like a real BDR, Jake has different needs, timeline, and budget. But don't worry, our agent can handle it. So to get started, I'll click run and it's time to Tango. When you see the screen turn purple, that is Tango analyzing and extracting your information from the page. It will pull all the relevant values and allow me to review them before I proceed. So here in the right-hand side, you can see it captured the use, the handoff notes, follow-up notes, next steps, and deal name. It all looks good, so I'll click continue. Now, watch as Tango tangos. Tango automatically opens up HubSpot, it finds the contact record for Jake Rubenstein, and it automatically sets his status to qualified, and it opens up that deal record. Watch as the purple cursor does all the work for me. Tango will automatically enter the deal name. I'll go ahead and manually enter the close date, but watch as Tango automatically fills in all the other properties for this deal. And now as the BDR, I review everything to make sure it's accurate, and then I click create. Now my agent continues the work. It automatically opens up my email browser, clicks compose, pastes in my contact's email, puts in the email subject line, and even the email body. Now remember, you can edit and update this message as much as you need, but it won't go out until you hit send. Now, Tango goes back and opens up HubSpot. It opens up Jake's contact record and creates a note on the contact record with our notes from our call. Then it creates a task for his new account executive to follow up with him tomorrow, and it hits create, and now the note is made, the handoff is completed, and we are chill. And there it is. In just seconds, our agent has done all the necessary steps of a BDR after a discovery call. It updated the CRM, it sent a follow-up email, it created a deal in our CRM. It even handed the prospect over to an account executive and set a task for them to follow up in the next day, and it did it in seconds. That's pretty sweet. I'm Mark. Let's Tango. Now you know not all leads are qualified. So what do you do after a discovery call with a lead that's not qualified? You build a new agent to handle a disqualified lead. Let me show you how it works. In this video, we're going to build an agent that does all the follow-up tasks when a lead is not qualified. I'm Mark. Let's Tango. First, open the Chrome extension. Click Start Capture and select AI Automation. We're going to start here in our call recorder grain. Remember, Tango works at the UI layer. No code, no APIs, no development needed. So it's going to work with most of your online tools like HubSpot, Salesforce, Grain, and Gong, and countless others. In the right-hand toolbar, click Add an Agent Item, and then click Extract Information on this page. Then you can click the Tips and Templates link to see our library. We've got best practices, tips, and even a whole library of prompts that you can use right away. And for this case, since the BDR is using the BANT sales framework, they would need to extract the following: budget, close date, next steps, takeaways, follow-up note, follow-up email, quantity. We don't need handoff notes since this lead is not getting handed off because they're not qualified. We can add purchasing authority by prompting Tango with, does the customer have the purchasing authority? If not, who does? And when should the rep follow up with this prospect to see if anything has changed? Now you'll hit extract to get this information into your hands. Once you review the smart values and everything looks good, click Save. Now we'll move into our CRM to continue the disqualification process for Jillian. First, we'll find Jillian's contact record and click on her name. Next, we'll set her lead status to disqualified, which will open up a sidebar where we're going to have to enter in some information. We need to select a disqualification and then add in our smart value for follow-up notes, and then add in our smart value for key takeaways in the disqualification notes section. And click Save. Now you can create a follow-up task to follow up with the prospect in 6 months to see if anything's changed, and you can assign it to yourself. Even if the lead is disqualified, I still want the BDR to send a follow-up email because that's the right thing to do. So I'll copy the contact's email address. I'll open up my email client and click Compose. I'll paste in their email address. For the subject line, I'll enter my smart value. And for the body of the email, I'll use smart values again. This email is generated from the agent using the information from your call. Now remember, you have all the ability to update, edit, and change this email any way you want before you hit send. Now that our process is done, I click Save in the right-hand toolbar, and now we have a Tango agent to run after a disqualified prospect call. Now we get to test it. If you want to watch us test it, check out our next video. I'm Mark. Let's Tango. So you had a discovery call with a prospect and they're not qualified to move forward in your sales process. This is the agent you want to run. As a BDR, you have certain steps you need to now take, and we've built an agent to do them for you. Before we begin, let's rename this agent. We're going to update it to Update HubSpot when a lead is DQ. This lets our BDRs know exactly what this agent does and when to use it. Now, let's see the DQ agent in action. To get started, I hit run on a transcript for a disqualified prospect named Jillian. So first, our Tango agent is going to click on the transcript and extract all the necessary information. You can see that purple line moving up and down. That's Tango in action. Now we can review all the information on the right-hand sidebar to make sure all our smart values look good, and click Continue when we're ready to move on. Next, my Tango agent will automatically open up my CRM. You can see there's 2 contacts with the same name, so I'm going to jump in and click on the correct one. Once I do that, Tango takes back over and you can watch that purple cursor go to town. It'll go ahead and change the lead status to disqualify, enter a disqualification reason. It even logs a note. In this case, it uses smart values, and it tells our CRM that the budget was to be determined and the person doesn't have the buying power. And now it's ready for me to click Save. Remember, this is what Tango calls human-in-the-loop automation. It gives your BDRs the power and speed of artificial intelligence, but it allows them to be in control at critical moments to determine what gets entered to the CRM or sent to a customer. Now I'll click Save, and now my agent will automatically draft a follow-up email to the disqualified prospect. It'll go ahead and copy the email address on the contact record, open up my email client, click Compose, enter the disqualified prospect's email address, fill in the subject line, and even fill in the entire email body. Now remember, you get to edit this, update this, do whatever you want with this email before you hit send. Remember, anytime you see that purple cursor moving around, that is your agent working on your behalf. You are not entering this information. You could be sipping coffee. You could be combing your hair. I can't. And there it is. We've completely automated our follow-up as a BDR for an unqualified prospect. To learn more about how AI agents can help enable your team to move faster and adhere to process, subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. Visit our website at tango.ai. I'm Mark. Let's tango. So you've built an AI agent, but how do you make sure your team actually uses them? I'm Mark, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to pin and share tangos with your team. There are two options. Pin them in your work tools like HubSpot, Grain, or Salesforce. That way they show up right where your BDRs are actually working. Or you can star them so they always show up at the right-hand panel for your BDRs. So in Grain, I can pin both of these tangos into the user interface of Grain for our BDRs to use. I simply just select which agents I want to give them access to, and I can even add a little note that says, use these after every call. I can also make sure those agents are shared with our workspace or even select a working group of just BDRs. I can do the same thing in our CRM because our BDRs basically live in HubSpot. I'll add the pin right here on the leads page of our CRM and just follow the same process. Now, when a BDR is in Grain or in HubSpot, they'll see this little pin, click it, and remember to use one of our agents after each prospect call. You can also star a Tango so that it will always show up in your side panel. To do so, just head to your Tango library, select the agent that you want to star, and simply click Star. This way, anytime your side panel pops open, you'll see your starred tangos right there ready to use. And that is how you share and pin tangos so your team stays compliant and gets their work automated quicker. I'm Mark. Let's tango.